channel. My name's Tina and today we're going to check out the Dulce palette from Juvias Place. I did swatches of this the other day. You'll see a link to that video up there if you want to see just the swatches. Today I'm going to actually do a quick look with this and talk a little bit about it and how it's a little bit different than the other Juvias Place palettes that I own. It's really nice, but it is different. If you love Juvias Place and you're like, why isn't this working for me? Or you're thinking about buying this palette, there's some things you should know. I think this is the perfect beginner palette for somebody trying out Juvias Place, but there are differences. One of the big differences is these pigments, because this is a pastel palette, they go on the eye much lighter than they swatch. So let's start to look and I'll show you what I mean. I'm just taking a clean brush from Luxie, and this is a fairly large blending brush, and I'm just going to take this color here and I'm going to put it all over my lid. Now, unlike most Juvias Place palettes, I swirl my brush a little bit in this one. I don't just tap in because, like I said, these pick up a little differently. Juvias Place does not come with a mirror. I'm just gonna put that shade all over my lid. It does have some kick up to it, but I'm noticing something, and if you do a lot of makeup, I'm curious if you've ever noticed this. All right, so this brush creating quite a bit of kick up in my colors. See, it totally does. It creates quite a lot. If I take a different brush, this is, I believe, a Real Techniques brush, and I do the same thing, no kick up. What is up with that? I'm starting to think kick up is more about your brushes just as much as it's about the eyeshadow formula. Moral of the story, if you're getting a ton of kick up with a palette, change brushes. I have that all over my lid, so my primer is set. And now I'm gonna go into chocolate, which is that really deep brown color, and I'm gonna do my crease and outer V. See what I mean? In the pan, that looks so dark, and on the lid, it's just a nice deep brown. It's not too dark or anything. In other Juvias palettes, if you picked up a color like that and you did what I did where I swirled my brush in it, girl, don't do that. This palette is just a little more forgiving about color and stuff. So I just dust these off of my color switch, and then so now I'm going to go with this Crepes color. It's kind of a reddy color, and this one is slightly more, like, you get more color that's like what's in the pan, especially if you're using a denser brush. This is my Real Techniques brush. It's stained green. It was white. I'm just bringing this down here on my outer corner, and then I'm also blending it up into the chocolate, and then blending again. And I have my foundation done, but not my concealer, although this doesn't have very much fallout. It's a really nice palette. It's just a little bit different to work with for Juvias Place, not for other brands. My brushes look terrible today. Now I'm taking Cream, which is this really pretty pink right here, and I'm just gonna do like all of my lid, the rest of my lid with that. This color looks pretty matte in the pan. On the lid, it does have some shimmer to it. Even though they do go on sheerer than most Juvias shadows do, you can totally build them right up like I'm doing with this all across my lid right now, because that's such a pretty color and I really like it with those browns. I'm gonna take Tarte for my inner corner, and then I'm gonna use this green down here for my lower lash line. Juvias Place shadows, you can absolutely, oh wow, that color is gorgeous. Holy cow. I had not used that one before. That's not even wet. It's just stunning. I'm gonna go into that wet in a minute after I get done with everything else. I'm gonna clean up my eyes and fix all that, and I'll be right back. I've done my concealer and fixed any mistakes that I made with my eyeshadow, because I'm not like perfect and I tend to blend really messy just because I tend to be in a hurry. My makeup hacks. They're all about how do I get out of the bathroom as fast as I can. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Crepes and I'm going to bring that around the outer corner of my eye, and I'm just going to use my Wingos number 19 brush for that. And then I'm going to take this little bitty brush here and go into that green, put that on my lower lash line, and I'm going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus. I get allergies, and even if this would have been bright enough all on its own, I'm going to use this Elizabeth Ardell. This is just in a champagne color on my waterline because, like I said, allergies. And this is my Kiko eyeliner in an aquamarine. And I think it'll pair nicely on my upper lash line with that green on my lower lash line. The last thing I'm going to do before I grab another product is I'm going to use this Tarte again with some MAC Fix Plus. And man, that really brings out the violet. And I don't know if this is going to go away, but when I did that and my brush was damp, it did turn this slightly purple, which is the color it goes on the lid, so I guess it's not terribly surprising. It doesn't look at all like I've ruined it or anything, but it is good to know. Just using my Tartiest lash paint down to my last little bit of it. For my last step, highlighter, of course. So I have my Smashbox Katie Holmes, whatever. Since this palette doesn't have a color that I want to use to highlight my brow bone, I'm just going to use this. Although I don't really have a brow bone. And then I'm going to grab my Pacifica Rainbow Drops in Crystal Moon. I love this item product. It is amazing. And I'm just touching the inner corner. That's it. Not doing anything else there. I'm just adding that little bright white spot that I love. I don't know why I love that, but I do. And for lipstick, I'm going to use Smashbox Always On, Be Legendary, whatever, lipstick in Base Alert. I didn't really like this shade with the look I did, but I don't think it's the shade. Yeah, see with this look, I think this color is really pretty. I just didn't like it with the look I did the day that I got it. So let's talk about this palette for a second so I can give you my review. Keep in mind, this is 100% my opinion, and I bought this like I buy everything on my channel. You're gonna get the real truth. I don't know that this is my favorite Juvias Place palette. Well, I know it's not. It's not my favorite. The Magic palette, the Saharan palette, the Zulu palette, I love those. This one I like, and I will definitely use it quite a lot because it is got some really great shades in it. They are very nice, but they do not perform like the other Juvias Place palettes do. You can make them build up to beautiful, but if you use Juvias Place a lot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that when you touch your brush into a shade of Juvias Place, you're going to come out with crazy pigment that you can blend for days. This doesn't really do that, so it's easier to work with for somebody who hasn't had experience with that before. The formula is similar though. If you buy this palette and you're scared of color and you're like, okay, because there are some really nice colors in here. I want to try Juvias Place, but I'm scared to try one of their crazy ones, like the festival with those crazy bright colors in it. This is a safer place for you to start. That way you can build up to your confidence of using those shades. It's a beautiful palette, but it isn't got the same saturation of color that their other palettes do. For somebody who loves color and like lives for their formula and expects that, I was just completely shocked that they didn't perform that way. I was like, what the heck's going on here? And then I remembered they said that this was a pastel palette. Obviously, if you just open it up and look at it, you're like, pastel? I'm not sure that's pastel. That looks awfully dark. Blends out beautifully into a sort of pastel brown. You can build them up. Even the mattes, if you get them damp, I use setting spray, but whatever you use, if you get them a little damp and you just pack it on with a denser flat brush. If you use a brush like this and stamp it on your lid, and then take a brush like this and go around the edges, you will be able to blend it out and have the beautiful intense color that most people who love Juvias Place expect. It is a very different palette for them. I like it. I think it's very pretty, and I totally get why this is such a popular palette with a lot of people. If you've only bought this palette and you haven't bought any of the other Juvias Place palettes, be warned. This is a much different. On those ones, you do not have to pack it on at all. You just like put it on your lid and it's like bam, that shade's right there exactly like it looks in the pan. These are just a little different. That's my thoughts on this. And I'd love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I know that this palette's been out for a little bit. Because of the name and everything, it was the last palette of theirs that I bought. I need to do a Juvias Place video of my collection because I own pretty much everything they sell except for brushes or are totally not in my shade range. I own it all because I love it. I love Juvias Place. I think I would give this like out of 10 stars, I'd probably give this a 7. Normally, Juvias Place gets a 10 from me. And I will have their highlights. I ordered it as soon as they came out, so I have the royalty set. So if you're excited to see what them highlights look like, so am I, because girl, please tune in for that one. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!